Hey guys, Bruce, 51 Napco. I just wanted to give you guys another update on the engine dilemma that I'm having. And also got a mail call. I wasn't even expecting it. I think I was expecting one, but I got two. So anyway, let me get that out of the way. The first one I got here is from the Frame Off up in Canada. And sent me a cool sticker. So that'll go on my dryer of fame. And so that's a cool sticker, and I really appreciate it. And I just wanted to give everybody thanks for subscribing to my channel, and I really appreciate all the comments and the stickers. It's been a pretty neat thing being able to get these and be able to reach out to guys out there that have the same interests that I do about working on these old vehicles. Problem I have out here is I don't have anybody that I know out here, partially because of my job. Because I work out at Edwards Air Force Base, and it's out in the middle of nowhere. So there's not a lot of people around here. And also I work odd shifts, so I'm not around when everybody else is around. So I haven't really found anybody that has any interest at all in what I'm doing. So then I found YouTube, and I've been able to connect up with a bunch of guys out here, and it's been really fun, and I love all the comments that I get. I'm glad that there's guys out there that actually appreciate what I'm trying to accomplish here. Then I got another one here from the Shade Tree Fix-It Man. And he sent me a real cool sticker. And thank you very much, George. And thank you, George, for your comments. I wanted to tell you that I'm pretty much exactly right along the same lines as what you've been telling me about the vacuum leaks and everything else. Matter of fact, when I first started troubleshooting this truck, when I first started the engine, that's what I was thinking too. Vacuum leaks was the main thing. And I did find some, so that was part of the issue. And I know you said something, I don't remember exactly what it was at this point, but you're real close on the things that I was looking for and finding. And so that was a help. The other issues that I have, also I wanted to tell Billy thanks for the comments about the sealing up the bolts. I don't think originally, let me tell you a little story about what about this engine and about the truck a little bit. I've been working on the truck since 1999, so I've had it forever. And just different things have happened, and divorce. I went through a divorce, several moves all over the place, being in the military, and so it's been put on hold. You move things around. You got to move your whole entire garage, and things get lost, things get forgotten. That's another problem. So I think this problem that I have today might be because I might have missed some things and caused myself some problems. But one of the issues was with this engine. I bought this engine back in 2002, probably. And I bought it as a long block. It was a completely machined long block, 383 built stroker motor, a Chevrolet stroker motor. And it seemed like he did a real good job on it and everything. And so I put it in the truck, put the rest of the stuff on it that needed to go on it. Carburetor intake, all that, the other varying different things that you need to do. And it sat and sat and sat. And I had to do other things also. A bunch of rust repair, patch panels. I had to fabricate up all of the cross members for the Napco stuff because it didn't originally come as a four-wheel drive truck. So I fabricated up all the cross members and everything to make it four-wheel drive because I didn't get all the Napco stuff either, which had cross members with it. And because I didn't have an engine or anything, it took a lot of fabrication and stuff. So anyway, the engine sat for a long time. I finally got it started back in, I think it was 2004, which was still, I mean, what is that, 11 years ago? And that's when I had the first problems. And the first problem I had was the original carburetor that I had a bad power valve in it. And if you guys know Holley carburetors, if they have a power valve in them, they just flood completely. So that was the trouble I was having then. And so basically, when I was in the process of removing the carburetor to take the power valve out, or disconnect the bowl, or however I was doing it at the time, I did not disconnect the battery. And another thing why I wasn't thinking about that, the battery on these trucks is underneath the floor, underneath the passenger compartment. So, having said that, my alternator was over here on the fuel inlet side of the carburetor, and I disconnected the fuel line, and it started siphoning fuel out all over the engine. Well, I tried to start reconnecting that line up, and I had the wrench sticking out the back part of my hand, and so when I was tightening, righty-tighty, I was tightening it up, I touched the wrench on the hot of the alternator, and it sparked and went up. And it became, this fuel did not stop coming out, so I just kind of put my hands up and had to call the fire department because it was just going, it just went up. Okay, I'm back. My daughter stopped by and they're leaving to go look for a car. So anyway, I don't even remember where I was. The fire happened. So anyway, the fire happened. And basically it took out everything you see here. I had already painted a flag on here that was much better than this one. The fire went inside the cab, destroyed everything inside the cab. I had brand new gauges, everything. Destroyed the hood. It pretty much destroyed the cab. The top of the cab was just concave, and but I brought it back to life. Actually turned out real good. Anyway, so that happened, and then the truck sat for a while because I was totally dejected and depressed about the whole thing. But then I tore it all apart, and there's some pictures in the first 10 years video of when I tore it all apart, and me and my buddy took all the pieces back down to a place down in off the coast that did a bunch of stuff for the Navy. And they primed it, they sandblasted it and primed it with some super awesome direct-to-metal primer that they use in the shipping industry for the Navy. So anyway, and it's harder than nails. It's real hard to sand, but it's got a good base on it. So anyway, so that happened, and then I brought it back home and put it all back together. And then I started going through the divorce and everything. Then I had to move. So I actually got the engine running. And everything was running. The truck ran pretty good. No, actually it didn't, because unbeknownst to me, the brake booster that I had also been in the fire. And it's underneath the floor on the driver's side. Well, the diaphragms in it had heated up and melted, so I had a huge vacuum leak when I had to move. So I got the engine running enough, and I had to keep it running to move the truck. And I got it up on my trailer, and I had to move, and I moved several times. Then I discovered at some other point that I needed a new booster, and a new this, and a new that for all the different problems that I was having. I'd also melted the breather tube on the Turbo 400 transmission, so that closed off completely. So whenever I ran it and moved the truck, the fluid would back up the filler tube and start coming out the filler tube. So that was another issue that I ran into. Melted all the wiring, everything. The carburetor was completely melted over the top of the intake manifold. But anyway, so then I got all that done, and I got this job out at Edwards, and I moved to Cal City, which is north of Edwards, and I got the truck running awesome. I mean, I'm talking, it was running like a raped ape. Brand new everything, all the vacuum leaks were good, and it was running perfectly. So then I took it over to, now not having my own house and living in a rental, I couldn't paint it myself, which I wanted to do. I took it over to this guy to paint it. After I'd done all the body work, I said, dude, all you got to do is prime it and shoot the color on it. That's it. Well, he proceeded to prime it. It took him about a month to prime it, and then he sat on it. And it sat over there for almost 3 years. And in that time, I'd gone over there, and I left the chassis over there too, because we took everything completely off the chassis. I noticed that on this side, in between the collector, like my last video, had this coolant leak. So anyway, when I brought the after I got fed up with the guy at the paint shop, I brought the chassis home, got it ready to start putting it all back together and getting it running. Because I'm at the point now, I just want to get the damn thing on the road so I can start enjoying it. I got it home. I pulled this head off, I believe. I don't remember if I pulled both heads off, because this was like 2 years ago I did this. And there was no sealant on the bolts then. So apparently the rebuild shop that put the thing together, machine shop that built the engine originally, they didn't seal the bolts either. So that's why I just took the understanding that they didn't have any sealant on them. And being an aircraft mechanic, I mean, I know my way around a shop and tools and all sorts of different kinds of equipment, and all sorts of different kinds of engines and stuff, but I never work on, small block Chevys, per se. So, everything I'm doing on this is like the first time I've dealt with it. So, unbeknownst to me, you have to have sealant on these bolts. Well, that's what I think is probably the problem with the leaking, but it only leaks on this side. So I think I'm going to have to take that, and I'm going to have to reseal all those bolts, which is no big deal. But having had it sit for so long, and I had this side torn apart, and I had to relash all the valves and get all those measurements correct. Having done that, I think that I screwed up, and I tightened down one of the rocker arms way too much, and also I had no way besides drilling the distributor hole to put any sort of lube back on there. And I do have a little distributor that I made into a tool to pump the oil system up out of the old distributor that was in here that got destroyed in the fire. I made a tool. But anyway, I think because that one, I'm guessing at this point, because I haven't torn the motor apart, but I'm guessing that maybe because of that, the camshaft might be toast. Because it's still running terrible. I found every kind of a vacuum leak that I can possibly find. The engine is running really rough, and it's making, I describe it as a clattering noise. It's clattering, knocking kind of a noise. It almost sounds like it's pinging a little bit, but I'm sure that's not it. It's got good gas in it. I know I had another subscriber ask, is it good gas in it? And I did change out. It's got brand new gas in it. The carburetor's rebuilt bitchin'. I think that the carburetor issues are not an issue. And it sounds and it feels like something mechanical is going wrong. Bad wrong. So I think at this point what I'm going to have to do is pull off the rocker arm covers, disconnect some of the rocker arms, pull off the intake, and pull out the lifters and look down in there and see what the cam looks like, and go from there. Because I'm thinking now that I'm going to have to pull the motor and rebuild it again. Which is fine with me. I mean, it's not. I wanted to get the damn thing running, but that way at least I know what I have. And also I'll go step by step through it, and, you know, I'll be versed on all the different parts of putting it back together and rebuilding it. So anyway, that's where I'm at right now. If you got any other ideas, but at this point, I'm thinking that all the vacuum leaks are good, the gas is good, the carburetor's good. I don't have carburetor issues, I don't believe. It seems to be, when I turned the engine over, when I did the valve lashing, it seemed to be very hard to turn over also, which is another indication to me that it was like, oh, that's not good. So that's where I'm at. So I'd appreciate comments, any more ideas, and I'll give you guys an update when I get the next one.